And in a snowy game, JMU is ready to get it going. Again, we're facing Syracuse. Syracuse don't bring in the white uniforms. I mean, they do have orange pants, so we'll be able to see them a little bit in the snow, but that's kind of a sneaky move by Syracuse. As we take a look at the top 25 standings, look who that #1 team in the nation is, Florida State, and they're actually the only team to beat us all season long. Now, behind them is Oregon at #2, and moving up from #4 to #3 is the Madison Dukes at 7-1. We beat a tough Georgia Tech team last week, 35-28. This week, we're facing Syracuse, who I believe they're 1-7 on the season. This game should be cake. And as for the rest of the top 25, you can see Notre Dame and Ohio State are in your top 5. Move on down, LSU and Nebraska. We see a little bit of Alabama going from 8 to 14. And then at your top, the last part of your top 25, you see Michigan, TCU, and Stanford there bringing up the rear. As for your Heisman standings, well, Mike Weber is absolutely killing it this season. 185 yards in the last game, 3 rushing touchdowns, and a couple of receptions. Behind him, there's a couple of good guys, but nobody's going to pass Mike Weber at this pace. And as for the standings in the ACC Atlantic side, well, we're right behind Florida State, but they're 7-0, 8-0 overall. The conference are doing better, but one loss can make this a little more interesting. Now, Syracuse starts the game by kicking it off deep to JMU, and look who's back to get it. This speedy Stephen Weldon. Now, he's had a couple of good returns this year, but he's missing kind of those big marquee returns that we've seen in years past from him. And going into today's game, Joe Disher was precise last week, but he's got to do better this week in the snow to prove that it's not a fluke. Now, for those of you wondering about Cameron King, he is actually listed as doubtful for this game, so I don't think we're going to play him. His strained back is still bothering him, so rather than, try to force him against a really bad team like Syracuse, we're letting him sit out one more week, letting Trey Sharp shine. And something we found so far for JMU, that not getting the running game involved has been pretty much a recipe for disaster. So even though Trey Sharp isn't the biggest back, we're going to make sure he runs today, get involved in the passing game, and just keep pushing those chains all game long. Now, Trey Sharp has been heavily involved so far, but we're going to go to the passing game here. Now, we do see Dodson rolling. Dodson's rolling out. We throw a deep pass to him, and look at Jordan Dodson hauling that one in for a 25-yard grab. And the hope is that because we're playing Syracuse and they're a team that's pretty horrible, that we'll see a lot of the backups get in and have a chance to play today. So again, we're going to do a little bit of a fake here. Stick it to the running game. We're going to see a pitch out here to Sean McMahon, and Sean McMahon is running. He's got a chance to get into the end zone. McMahon is going to take it all the way in. Syracuse, you might see a 50-burger put on him today, because now we are clicking fully on our offense. And we've already seen what the offense can do, and we're hoping the defense has similar luck so far today. Now, one thing we have struggled with is quarterbacks that run the option, and so far, Syracuse's offense is looking solid as Allen goes in there for a first down. One thing we want to make sure we do today is just run a QB spy at all times. Syracuse, again, a mobile quarterback who's deadly. Gotta make sure we lock him up today. Now, a nice pass there to Hester goes to make it 3rd and 1. Now, Syracuse has a chance here on 3rd and 1. Lewis is trying to get the pressure. The ball goes across the middle, but it is knocked out at the last second. Great defense there by JMU to force a 4th down. Syracuse backs up the punt. They kick one out to Stephen Weldon. It's pretty deep inside about the 10 or so. We're close to the 15. Now, Weldon's going to break it out to the right-hand side. He's got some room. He cuts back. Weldon with a pretty good return there, 16 yards on it. JMU comes out with a new set of drives, and they're feeling pretty good. Now, we have an opportunity here to possibly go with the fake screen, but that's not going to work. So we see Joe Disher out here running. Joe Disher breaks a tackle and gets 3. After our defense locked up Syracuse, it is back to offense to see what we can do. Now, Joe Disher again going to fake the handoff to Trey Sharp. We got Dodson coming out of the backfield. We're going to let the big fella roam around a little bit. Jordan Dodson runs through multiple defenders there. He's got one guy in front, almost jukes him out of his shoes. But it is so good to see Jordan Dodson back involved in this offense. The offense is moving great, and Joe Disher is trying to play mistake-free football. This time he's going to find Smith. Clayton Smith is down inside the 10. Another big throw, in Syracuse, yeah, they're in a lot of trouble. Lining up again in the shotgun, we got Dodson back in the game at tight end. Disher again waiting for something. Dodson is open across the middle, and Jordan Dodson back into the end zone. He had his issues early this season with kind of getting some probation, some disciplinary actions, but he has been a monster here in the last few weeks. One word that we really haven't been able to use to describe JMU's defense this year has been effective. And right now, they're not looking very effective as this quarterback continues to kill us. But JMU can definitely use today's game, especially on defense, to try out a couple new wrinkles, try out a few new things, and get this to be more effective overall. A couple of yards here to go for Syracuse. They're back in some sort of the pistol formation. Looking for the guys across the middle. They go to a slant, and while we missed on the tackle, Branch ends up bringing down Dante Strickland, but not before the young fella gets 20 yards. First down again, we're going for the heavy blitz, and Smallwood comes in with the huge loss on that play, 2nd and 14 after a big tackle. With so many receivers in the game, we're going to opt to see that they're probably going to pass it here. So the ball goes down deep, and no one is covering Bronner. Bronner's going to haul this one in at the 25 yards, getting him down inside the 15. JMU is loading the line of scrimmage at the moment. It's 1st and goal. They're going to go to the halfback, but Perkins ends up getting brought down the backfield, but there is going to be a flag. It looks like a face mask on that play, and the referee is going to confirm it. After a bad play there by Aries Cole, JMU has to do a goal line stand. Now the ball's thrown over. Bonner is wide open again, a 4-yard touchdown reception, and just like that, Syracuse gets on the board and cuts a 2-score lead to a single-score lead. Syracuse scores, and they kick it again willingly to Stephen Weldon. I mean, look, you might willingly kick to him here and there, but this dude is electric. And look at Stephen Weldon out here with the major return. Got a guy to beat. They drop him at the 40. He ends up fumbling. So the good news is that even though Stephen Weldon fumbled there, we end up recovering it, or it just kind of rolls out of bounds, so nothing really is going to happen there. Now you see Joe Disher out here scrambling around a little bit. He's got a guy coming back across the middle of the field, but he leads his pass quite too far on that one. At the start of the second quarter, we see Disher here in the shotgun. He's got a guy open across the middle. He's going to find Clayton Smith, and Clayton Smith brings it down inside the red zone on a 24-yard grab. The offense seems to have found its groove now again in shotgun. Joe Disher's going to scramble around to the right-hand side a little bit. He's got a couple of guys open, but Joe Disher decides to keep it. And rather than, fumble like he did a couple of games ago on the goal line, he takes it out of bounds and decides to play it safe. Now, we said we'd run the ball a lot more so far today, and we haven't really given Trey Sharp that much ammunition to run the ball. And there we go. Trey Sharp gets into the end zone, a 5-yard touchdown run, and just like that, the seasoned veteran gets a big score for JMU to make it back to a 2-score lead. 2nd down and 8 again. Syracuse looking for something. They have an opportunity, but a big sack there. Loss of 7 yards, and the JMU defense steps up huge by Holloway. After that huge sack by Dimitri Holloway, it's 3rd and 15. Syracuse needs something, but what are they going to go for? Now, it looks like a halfback screen, which is a pretty good play call there. Oliver says, no, sir, though. You're not getting a 1st down, and Syracuse is forced to punt yet again. Another drive for JMU with a 2-score lead. They're trying to extend it here. Now the opportunity presents itself, and you're going to see Disher connected to Drew Coach. Drew Coach goes with the juke move, but it's not too successful. Joe Disher already has about 2 touchdowns today, and he'd love to get a 3rd. Now he's back here, a little bit of a play action fake. He's got a guy floating deep. He throws it over top, and Drew Coach is going to hold that one in. 29 yards and 3 first-half touchdowns. 2 touchdowns so far for Joe Disher after throwing a nice strike on that play. And look at this, an upset is possibly in the works. Florida State is down 10 points right now to Louisville. This could bump us up if we win today's game, which we should. This game just might get ugly if Syracuse does not score here. Now we got the opportunity, and Charles Tuck goes in and gets another interception. The team leader on the season in interceptions grabs another one, and Syracuse, things are about to get pretty dicey for you. Look, a school record for most interceptions ever. 18 for JMU now. Charles Tutt is the all-time leader at JMU. What a career so far for Charles Tutt at JMU. He has been legendary by every stretch of the imagination. Now Jordan Dawson is going to be deep. Joe Disher finds him, and Jordan Dawson gets those feet in there for another big catch. He's had a touchdown so far today. He's had a couple of big grabs, and because of him, Joe Disher now has over 200 yards passing on the game. 1st and goal now. Disher again looking to get somebody here into the end zone. So he's going to roll around a little bit to the left-hand side. He has Dodson floating. Dodson is there, and Dodson catches that one. What a throw. What an even better catch there by Jordan Dodson. His 2nd touchdown of the game, and Joe Disher's 3rd touchdown of the ball game. What a play. So going into halftime, it is a monumental lead for JMU. The number 3 team in the nation leads Syracuse 35-7. We could see 70 points in this ball game. 1st down and 10 for Syracuse. They're trying to get this drive started, or this second half started, to be much better than that first half, but by the looks of things, I don't know if they got much of a chance. Before the game, we kind of talked about, should Cameron King actually play in this game? And you know what? It was a tough decision to make, but at the end, I think we made the right call because we're blowing out Syracuse even without him. Now, even though we gave up a pretty big gain in the last play, we're still doing okay here. I mean, we've got the lead at the moment. And then Smallwood's going to get an interception there on the edge. First, Charles Tuck got one a few drives ago, and then Smallwood gets a big one right there to stop this drive for Syracuse. The JMU defense is looking effective. I know we said, maybe they haven't been effective so far this season, but that looked pretty good if you ask me. Now, Disher's out here scrambling again, getting a good block from McMahon, and he gets the 1st down after a gain of 13. After a nice run by Joe Disher, we're back to the passing game this time. You're going to see a couple guys floating deep. Disher kind of wants to float it, but he sees a secondary come up, and Disher keeps this one again, going out of bounds after a gain of 5. 2nd and a few yards here. Disher's going to get a guy in motion. It's going to be Clay Smith. Now, he faked a little bit of a halfback run there, or we flip it out to the wide receiver. Clay Smith's got some room. He's got the jets. Can Clay Smith get it done? He goes for the juke. He stays up, and he gets the 1st down. Another big run, this time by Clay Smith. The receivers have been extremely effective in the running game. A new 1st down for JMU's offense. They're going to keep things going. You got Jordan Dawson floating out to the left, and he gets another 1st down, 12 yards on this one. We're seeing a legendary performance by the offense at this moment. Now, Jordan Dawson's floating out, but the blitz is coming in, and Disher locks in a 1 receiver too long and loses 11. Stephen Weldon comes in at receiver this time on 2nd and 21. Can Weldon get a completion? He is going to get a reception here, and Steven Weldon makes a couple of moves. A couple guys miss, and he picks up all but 1 yard that he needed, getting 20 yards in his first reception in quite a while. 3rd down and 1. Can JMU keep the pressure on and try to get that, 70 burger they wanted today? Now Trey Sharp goes in, and he's going to go into the end zone. A 10-yard rush by him. He doesn't have a ton of carries today, but he does have 2 touchdowns. He's been incredibly effective in the absence of Cameron King the past few weeks. Pretty much every single drive for JMU on offense has been legendary so far. Now we're going to try to make sure our defensive side can stay legendary too if we can get one more turnover here. And we're trying to do our best to make sure this quarterback for Syracuse feels a little bit rattled. So we're blitzing pretty heavily so far today. Now he's feeling it a little bit, and this time we're going to see a big sack in the backfield, a loss of 4 on that one. Now it's 3rd down and 10, and Syracuse needs something desperately to work for them on offense. And their quarterback sitting back here. He's going to throw one deep. He's got a couple of guys here, and Mike Cobbs goes up. He's going to grab that one, gets another interception for this JMU defense. Not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions so far in today's game. With a minute 27 left here in the 3rd quarter, again, we're trying to put up points. 42 so far in today's game. And there is a couple of guys open here. We're going to throw one low. Henry Castle's going to grab that one, makes a good juke move, and stiff arms a defender to the ground. It's kind of crazy to think about, but the offense could be having their best game all season. I know it is against a 1-7 team, but they've still been really good. So going into the 4th quarter, it is a 42-7 shellacking out there. Can we get 50? Can we get 60? Could we get 70? Let's find out. So with 3rd down and 8 at the start of the 4th quarter, we're going to go to a halfback screen. Haven't really used it too many times today, but can we find it to be effective? Well, the answer to that is absolutely, because Trey Sharp goes for 13 to pick up the first. Now, something to notice here is that Chase Sinclair is actually in the game, not because he wants to be, but because Joe Disher actually got hurt. So we're going to see Henry Castle go down, picking up the first on a crucial 3rd and 4. And with some of our mass subs being in here, we have some of our 2nd and even our 3rd string players in the game. You can see it's not really working out super well because Taylor Woods actually loses 3. So 3rd and 4, you actually see Steven Weldon line up to the right. Last time he was in the game, he ended up catching one. This time, though, we're not going to go to him. We go to Drew Coates instead, who, when he's still in the game, because a lot of our younger receivers, the backup receivers, they're redshirted. On 1st and goal, we actually see Rashad Robinson in the game. Rashad Robinson clears the line. He goes out to the edge, and Rashad Robinson, the defensive back, you're going to see him get a 2-yard touchdown reception. I believe it's the first receiving play he's ever had in his entire career, and he gets a touchdown on it. Sometimes the mark of a good team isn't what they do, it's what they don't do. And so far what we've seen from JMU is that they are not turning the ball over, and that has been huge in this game. And granted, this is the team that JMU should absolutely be beating and be blowing out, but you know what? You got to give them credit for doing what they're supposed to do against a team this bad. What's been interesting here is we're seeing a lot of our backup players, and again, we did a mass sub on offense and we did a mass sub on defense. So the ball goes across the middle. We're going to see a couple guys miss, but Steven Weldon, who is now playing safety, tackles Curtis Lawrence after 20 yards. But you got to give Syracuse credit against our 2nd team defense and offense. They've done like okay, well, more so against our defense. But Matthew Belt, though, speaking of the defense, steps up and says, look, we might be the 2nd team defense. Even though he's a starter, he steps up and shows why he's a playmaker on our defense. The dream of scoring 50 points against a team like Syracuse, well, it didn't really happen today, but you got to give JMU props and Joe Disher. 3 touchdowns. He was pretty much electric all game long, but this team was great on offense, a little rough on defense early on, but they got the job done. Again, not 50 points. A lot of the backups played, and you know what? Everybody had fun in today's ball game. To recap tonight's stats in today's game, Joe Disher was 11-13, 200 and about 40 yards and 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions, only got sacked twice and didn't turn the ball over once. Chase Sinclair came in a little bit at the end of the game when Joe Disher got hurt. We think he'll be okay going into next week, but Sinclair was 9-13, 126, 1 touchdown, 1 interception late in the game, but that ultimately didn't matter. On the rushing side, we had a lot of attempts just by not one single individual. Now, Trey Sharp had 9-33 and 2 touchdowns. Joe Disher had a couple. Taylor Woods had actually played pretty well towards the end of the game. Clay Smith did a couple big runs for us, and Sean McMahon had 1 major run, only 1 touch there rushing wise, but he still scored a touchdown. The biggest story on the receiving side of things is that the old Jordan Dotson, the player that we've been waiting to see again this season, seems to have returned. 6 catches, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him in a monster game. Drew Coates had 3 for 70 and 1 touchdown. And we also saw down here at the bottom, Rashad Robinson, the senior, in his last season for JMU, got 1 catch for 2 yards and 1 touchdown. Defensively, none of the stats were too crazy. Rashad Jean Jr. had 4 tackles. Rashad Robinson also had 4. You see a couple guys step up pretty well, but the tackles just weren't really too crazy. Now, Dimitri Holloway had a sack. You also saw Curtis Holmes with a sack. And then interception-wise, you see Matthew Belt, Steve Smallwood, Mike Cobbs, and then finally Charles Tutt, all with 1 interception each. And again, if you guys enjoyed today's video and you want to see more stuff like this, make sure you guys crush the like button. Let's go for 500 likes in today's video. Subscribe for more videos like this one, and check the playlist on the screen and watch another video right now. I'll catch you guys on the next one.